4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome everybody to the biggest and hopefully greatest AI Makeathon of all of Germany. I'm Nora.
And I'm Pep.
And we're super excited to have you all here. The last few days have been very exhausting for all our participants, but unfortunately only 8 of them could make it to the day today. And let's see how it goes.
Before we start with the final, perhaps we can explain what the Makeathon actually is. So it's a competition where participants gather in teams to conceptualize the best business plan, which incorporates AI. And right now we have 8 finalists out of 30 teams, and we're really excited to have what they have in store for us.
Yes, very cool. Also today, if you have any questions at any point using the 3rd channel in Slack, the pitches channel, so if you have any questions, please write them there and they will be answered for you guys.
Sounds amazing. And now we have a short talk from our co-president of TUM.ai, Nicholas Remmerscheid. Good evening, Nicholas. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, Nico.
Hey.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Super cool. Then go ahead.
Okay. So give me a second.
Looks good.
Okay, should be fine. So welcome everyone. Hello from my side as well. As said before, I'm Nicholas. I'm one of the founders and one of the presidents of TUM.ai, and I'm very excited to be able to welcome you today for the 2nd iteration of the Makeathon. And before I present to you what is TUM.ai, why do we even exist, let me quickly give you a recap, follow up of what we did the last days and hours. So first up, I want to show you this map, which I saw just half an hour before, and it's very incredible because it shows all the different regions where participants come from. So all the green areas is where participants come from, and it just shows the magnitude of the event and the number of people and how international they all are, who came together to actually work on actual problems, to learn how to use AI to solve actual problems. And I just want to give you the feeling that you're part of this big community of people who worked on this incredibly hard the last 48 hours, and they came just from all across the world. And to give you a quick overview of some other numbers, we had 350 plus applicants who worked 30 different teams on 9 different challenges, and we had 20 awesome individuals who offered their time as experts in AI and business in general to help us. And then last number, very important, we had an immense amount of work put into this by participants. We had nearly 10K messages being sent on Slack. The last days, of course, increasing strongly the last hours. And before I give you this overview of TUM.ai, I just want to thank you, everyone who is participating, who made it possible. Of course, our main supporters, Supply.ai, Microsoft, all the challenge hosts who were really involved in making the projects. And then, of course, all the experts offering their free time for this. And then lastly, all the participants. And I hope you had a great time. And of course, it's not easy. Developing an AI model in general is not easy. And then in 48 hours, with a business model and a prototype is pretty challenging. But I'm just astounded how many people have managed to do that. I was in the season jury before, and I have to say, congrats to everyone. You've done a great job, and I'm very much looking forward to the next pitches. And exactly this idea of connecting students with all relevant stakeholders to actually apply AI to drive positive impact is exactly what the mission of TUM.ai is. And so the grander vision here is to empower the world to unfold AI's potential, not in just one domain, but in all domains, and as many domains as possible. And why do we actually want to do that? To recap that a bit more, so we want to lower the entry barrier to AI first. So the good thing is this Makeathon is not only for AI experts, but there are also a couple of other individuals, domain experts and business experts who joined, which makes us very happy because we want to lower the entry barrier. And this doesn't mean you need to code, but this means you need to work with AI, because AI is definitely something that will impact not only informatics people. And then the other thing is we want to have AI to be more collaborative. And this is perfectly for this Makeathon because we see teams, interdisciplinary teams work together, because it's not just a data scientist doing research, but to be able to actually build a solution that solves a problem. There has to be more people working on it. And then lastly, we had different tracks with different use cases because we want to push AI into a more diverse set of different domains. How do we do that? So we have a couple of different opportunities, which for us as a student initiative are very, very good and easy to do. First, workshops, we typically do that with external speakers, with other student initiatives, to learn, to connect, to be inspired. Then we have projects. We have a whole venture team for internal projects to help people develop their own idea. And then we have industry projects, a bit longer. I'll give you a couple of examples at the end. And of course, we have Makeathons with different partners. And then lastly, of course, for students also relevant, starting to take responsibility. If this is more interesting to you, we give students the possibility to become a team lead or a president to really take ownership of this. To put it all onto one slide, for a student, what happens when you join TUM.ai? So the first thing is you have the Makeathon, which is happening now. You don't have to do it, but of course it's a plus. So short ideation, use case focus. Then you have a community semester where you have different projects going on. You'll be in one department, for example, the venture team. And then in the semester break, we have industry projects, 2 to 3 months, or venture projects where you can work on your own idea. Then after that, it's completely open to you. And you can, of course, become an active member or an alumni afterwards. So to wrap this up, let me quickly give you an overview of the upcoming projects we have in the next weeks. So first off, as I said before, we have industry projects. So on the contrary to this Makeathon, those are not hacking or very short-term ideation focused, but it's actually real models, validated, iterated upon over 2 to 3 months. Again, with 3-4 industry partners. They're currently in progress with Capital, Precise, and Dyno Group. So watch out for the final event in a couple of weeks there. Then we have the AI Entrepreneurship Lab going on with KNUST from Ghana University, where the focus is like a business hacking event combined with an AI school. So to onboard people to AI and discover new use cases over 2 weeks. And they will also promote different information in the coming days. So with that, how do you reach us? We have LinkedIn. I would say that's the main channel. So make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And if you have a personal inquiry, just write us via mail. And then lastly, what can you do now? For all people who are thinking to AI, we are currently in the application process. So you have time until the 31st of October to apply. Again, this is open for everyone. So whether you want to learn how to code or whether you want to learn how to work with AI as a medical student or law student, we're open for everyone and we need everyone. And besides that, of course, for all interested partners, workshops, maybe industry projects, feel free to check out our website and write us a message so that we can discuss further collaboration. With that, thank you very much again. I'm very much looking forward to the pitches. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nico, for that presentation. And yeah, looking forward to seeing some of you maybe already soon in TUM.ai.
Yeah, perfect.
And without further ado, we want to get to introducing the jury to you that we have for this Makeathon. First of all, we have Ekrim. I don't know if some of you remember him from last year, but he's back again for this year, which is very exciting. He's the data and AI lead at Microsoft. He also acts as a co-founder and leading force to a startup of the free global mentorship program for students and young professionals, which makes him one of the best candidates also for our jury. So We're very glad to have you, Akram. How are you?
Happy to be here, and thanks for the nice, kind introduction. Yeah, I mean, you have me on the hook, right? So now I'm expecting every year to sitting here because it's such an enjoyable crew and nice event. So great organization again.
That's good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Then next up we have Antoine Leroy from TUM Venture Lab. He's also back for the second time, and he's the managing director for a venture lab for software and AI. And he has obtained a Master of Business Administration at the Harvard Business School. Good evening, Mr. Antoine.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you to be here again. Just one word on the first teams that we selected. There's one of them which have achieved last month's paying customers. So you got very strong alumni, and they are now also part of the Venture Lab. And I also want to say that the Venture Lab have launched their podcast called Entrepreneurial Realities. And I look forward to have you guys as well as the winners to be on another episode of the podcast.
Yes, it's definitely one of the exciting parts of the first prize. So that's people get. Very cool.
Then next we have Oliver Schopp. He is an investor at Unternehmertum Venture Capital Partners, and he has obtained a PhD from TUM in the field of AI and computer vision and medical data. Good evening, Oliver.
Oliver, are you here? I think we cannot hear you or see you yet. I think he's in the call, but not in the live stream yet. Yeah, maybe let's introduce the next jury member for now, seeing he's back after we introduced all of them.
He's here.
He is here, but we can't hear or see him yet.
Then we'll come back to you, Ms. O.
Yes, maybe for now introduce our next jury member, or we can fix it quickly. If not, it's fine. I'll move on to the next one for now, which is Anand Navalgaria. He worked as a machine learning engineer for Google and Amazon, and he has experience in leading a startup venture as well. So that's very cool, and we're also very, very glad to have you here, and I'm very sorry if I mispronounced your name. Let's see if we can hear you or see you.
Sorry, don't have a camera currently.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yes, but yes, I'm Anand. Hello, nice to meet you. Pleasure, and I like some of the pictures here. So happy to see you can help.
Yes, thank you for being here. And last but definitely not least, we have Andreas Mürbech. I also hope I can pronounce that correctly. He's the head of Discovery Lab at Siemens Financial Services. He also did his master in management and information systems and is now here for us today to judge the 8 teams. How are you, Andreas?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm a first timer actually. So I'm pretty excited in the final jury here and see if I get hooked like Akram for the next hackathons then.
Already served your place. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Do we have Oliver now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think it just didn't work for some reason before, but very happy to be on this call here today. Very happy to be on the jury. I'm very, very excited to see all the teams today. I was deeply, deeply impressed what came out of the last Makeathon. I think that actually caused quite a bit of stir in the Munich deep learning scene. So it's really great to see what you guys are building up here. Very, very impressive. And I'm very much looking forward to see the teams today.
Yes, same here. So yeah, maybe Peter, do you want to tell us a bit about the jury concept today for everybody that's joining for the first time?
So for today's finals, we have a concept for the jury. And each jury member can invest 2 AI coins in the winner team, that is in the finals. And in the end, the jury can further decide how to distribute a community budget. And each jury member has 1 million 2 AI coins. And the jury in total has 5 million 2 AI coins in which they decide altogether in which team they want to invest it in. And of course, the team with the highest score at the end wins prize.
Yes, it's very exciting. I know some of you've probably seen Shark Tank or the German Höhle der Löwen, a bit similar to that, so it'll be quite exciting.
Also, we also need to mention that each team has 6 minutes for the business pitch, and then it is followed by a 3-minute Q&A session, and then a 5-minute jury investment round.
Yes, correct.
And make sure to stick to the 6 minutes during the pitch, and so we can go right on plan.
Yeah, then do you want to start with the pitches already?
I think we can announce the finalists.
Go ahead.
Tracks. Starting off, we have 4 tracks altogether. Starting off with a social impact. Team number 1 is SpeakEasy, followed by Last Minute from finance track. Then we have the green Spectres from environmental sustainability. Then we have the AI Vengers from infrastructure. Then we have ChangeMaker from from social impact. Sorry for that. Followed by Foodies from environmental sustainability, and then we have Carbolytics.ai from infrastructure track, and last but not least, we have AI from social impact.
I'm very excited. Nice. Excited to his pitches.
Perfect. I'm excited to hear them as well. I think it's a great lineup.
Then maybe let's start with the first team, SpeakEasy. Is anybody from the SpeakEasy team ready?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Are you ready to present?
Yes, let's quickly see if Nicholas can share the screen.
Yes, 1 second.
And maybe quickly, like Peter said, we are sorry, but we will definitely cut you off exactly after 6 minutes. So yeah, make sure to stick to that time.
No.
But other than that, we can see your screen, and I think we're all ready to present.
The stage is all yours.
Good luck.
Thank you. Nicholas?
Do you see my screen?
Yes. So you probably look at stairs and recognize them as a convenient way to get to an elevated place. A physically impaired person, on the other hand, sees a huge barrier. And you probably read this text and get information out of it. I cannot see the next slide yet, Nicholas.
I think the delay is like very long, sorry.
Okay, so you probably read this text and get information out of it, but just as the stairs, its complexity can be a barrier. This time, a barrier to information. Among other factors, this text is complex because it contains enumerations, domain-specific terms, and a nested sentence structure. And I bet this text is challenging for you to read at first, even more so if it was in German. But for the following groups of people, that is mentally handicapped, elderly or sick people, or learners of a new language, a complex text can completely exclude them from information because they can't understand it at all. And with an ever-increasing amount of information provided online, it is crucial to make it accessible to everyone by making the text online understandable for everyone. In Germany, there's even a law for this. It requires administrative authorities, social security insurers, and healthcare providers to provide their communication, particularly their websites, in simple language, a style of language that follows specific patterns and that makes its structure and its use of words easier to comprehend. And currently, the translation into simple language is performed manually by translation agencies. And since the law is in place and not many entities comply with it yet, the translation agencies are hopelessly overworked and have to decline new projects. And this is actually a perfect setting for an NLP solution to automate the translation into simple language as it follows standardized patterns, and there's training data already available. And this is exactly what we have built. An NLP-powered tool that helps the translator to increase his or her productivity by more than 85%, as he or she would at least spend an hour manually translating, while our pipeline reduces this to 10 minutes of just reviewing our automatically generated simple text. So what does our pipeline include? We have a front end to enter the normal text, a pre-processing to split it in individual sentences, 85 custom fine-tuned text simplification model here in the middle, a post-processing for edits that can be made rule-based, and in the end, a front end to review the final output. And we have chosen the T5 model because research shows that it is the benchmark model for simplification in terms of simplicity and adequacy, and it is susceptible to domain-specific language fine-tuning. And here we have fine-tuned it on a large data set of sentence pairs in English from Wikipedia and Simple Wikipedia, and then achieved a blue score of 0.63. So let us quickly look at our prototype. So we have a front end, and on the left side, you can input the normal text and then hit submit. And during that time, our AI is writing, which means that we use our fine-tuned model to predict, and the prediction is then passed through our post-processing script. And in the end, we receive a simple version on the right. And you can then quickly review it and do some minor edits, and then you're already ready to publish it to your customer.
Now, can you make money with such a niche idea? You bet we can. We have a decent, serviceable, obtainable market of 50 million euros, and the entire market is expected to further grow by 25% as news agencies, church communities, and other sectors are already picking up on the simple language trend, even without a law requiring them to. Furthermore, there is no competition for an automated solution at the moment. There is a nice market potential. We also have a significant positive impact as we are tearing down barriers on the internet at supersonic speed. What's the business model and how do we enter the market? First, we target translation agencies and charge them per page, as well as for setting up a custom front end and custom fine-tuning. Further down the road, we can serve their customers, for example, public authorities, directly, and eventually even offer an app to the end user to simply scan a confusing text with their smartphone in real time. Last but not least, who are we? We are a team of proven deep tech rock stars. We come from different backgrounds, but are united by our love for NLP. We have worked on NLP projects, research, and even ventures, so we know exactly what we are signing up for. And we have identified the problem we have tackled because we are already in contact with a translation agency desperately looking for the solution we now have. So, enable us, with the prize money, to go on a journey to further develop our prototype into a German-speaking MVP that we can offer them, for which we already have an approach lined out. We have started scraping and cleaning existing simple language data from multiple sources with the goal of building a German dataset following the official simple language rules. Combining this with our current fine-tuning dataset translated to German, we plan on training a multilingual T5 model, which, together with our post-processing, will serve as a perfect foundation to roll out our solution to the first pilot customers. Simple language, simply made. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Thank you so much. That was perfectly on time. Now it's time for the jury to ask questions. You have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead. Use the time.
Oh, then maybe I start. Well, thank you so much for the pitch. Then maybe I start. Idea and very well presented. Very interesting idea and very well presented. One of the main questions that I have is what kind of one of the main questions that I have is from basically common language translation. You're translating common language translation. You're translating from normal language to simplified language. What about basically an AI-enabled translation between different languages?
So what we have learned from the translation task that we use...
Exactly. How is AI being used in those other fields as well, where it's maybe already more established?
Sure. So we all know probably DeepL, and we know Google Translate, which already use natural language processing models or techniques in order to do translation from one language to another language, where languages are like English, German, French that we know. And what we now do is kind of a different translation, not from one known language to another known language, but from one language to the same language, but in simple text.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Can I add to that real quick? Saying that what we learn is how the simple language also has patterns, and these patterns are comparable to the patterns that another language has. So it really is, like you said, a very related translation task, but like Vanessa then said, within one language.
I would also have another question around since like translation, be it a simple language or not, is a very complex task, be it between languages or into simple language. So what factors they considered? For example, the domain expertise, like technical terms. Let's say if I was to use technical jargon to a layman and had to explain machine learning, have you considered that in your data set? And another point I would have is, are you doing abstractive or extractive or a combination of that in your translation?
Yeah, very question. Maybe I can already answer the first part. So we have gone through this rule set for simple language. And one good point that you make is, let's say, specific domain jargon that needs to be explained. So what we use in our post-processing is we have a dictionary where hard words are explained in simple language. So rather than relying on the AI to always pick up, okay, which word is the hard word, we also employ a dictionary where we have a set of domain-specific words already in simple language explained that we then exchange in our post-processing. So we have both the NLP part and also a rule-based post-processing.
Perfect timing, because the time is up now.
Thank you very much. And now, distinguished panel of judges, it's time for the investment round. And we'll start in no particular order. We'll start with Andreas.
So you can hear me again?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I really like the idea. I think there is actually no good market for that. I'll go in with 120K.
Perfect, thank you very much. Then next up is Anand.
I really like the idea, and I think there's no market for this, and especially the end-to-end. However, I do think there is some this task would definitely come into face some hurdles when it comes to really trying to translate complex tasks, complex text. However, I would also go with 125K because it's given the 48 hours, it was just really impressive.
Thank you very much for your generous offer. Then we have Oliver.
Well, so as I said before, I was really impressed. I think a lot of the technical challenges that you might still have right now will be resolved easily in future, especially given more powerful language models that are coming up. I think a lot of the question answering can actually be done very interactively. So I think there's a lot of potential here. Also, in terms of market, I think probably this is bigger than most people think, not only for regulatory reasons, but it's becoming more and more common as well. So I do see the need, and I think it's a very nice idea, and I would invest 175K for that.
Thank you. Then
75K was that? Or
175.
100.
175.
Okay, thank you.
Then we have Antoine.
And I like the fact that it's a focus segment. I think that this is something that we may have discussed in the past, and I'd like to give 150.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Ekrem.
Yeah, I mean, being a big advocate for AI for good at Microsoft, and I think last year I did a presentation on that in this audience here. Of course, it's this really, I mean, touched my heart, the social impact thingy. But I saw some kind of missing points here, especially in the addressable market, the training data. So it seems like NLP applied with a dictionary. It looks from the pitch side a little bit too simple. So, but if you promised me that you're gonna, I mean, fine tune a little bit more, I mean, deep down a little bit, how you're gonna test if you test with affected people, getting some response on that. Then I would go with 80K here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before we move on to the next team now, we're going to have a quick overview of what money has already been invested from the jury members. Let's see what we have here.
Just one. I would say, I think, given that the tests were already done, I think I forgot the blow score of 0.623. I think I would change mine to 140.
Who was that? Sorry.
Anand here.
140K.
Yeah, from 125 to 140.
I'm not sure if the update has included that yet, but either way, we can definitely tell that the first team has already done very well. So good job to you guys, SpeakEasy. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on to the next team.
And up next we have Last Minute, Team Last Minute from the finance track.
Anybody here from Team Last Minute?
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Can everyone hear me? Everything's good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Are you ready to present?
Sure. Let me just click here to share the screen.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
I'll initiate the presentation.
Your sentence will start now. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good. Perfect. Thank you. Hi, we are Team Last Minute, and our product is based on the challenge set by Credum in the finance track. Our project has the objective to estimate the interior quality of residential buildings from the outside. Interior quality covers any aspects regarding the inside of the residence, including floors, windows, fixed kitchen appliances, luxurious design aspects, and so on. The estimation is crucial in determining the value of the property. To introduce our product, this scenario highlights its importance. Consider an elder realtor as the one in the picture. As we all know, realtors constantly need to visit new properties in order to estimate an initial price, so we can make an initial offer to potential clients. Consider now all the commutation time that this elder realtor faces every day, all the energy that he spends visiting properties just to assess an initial value to it. Wouldn't it be better if he could just estimate interior quality of the property in order to give an initial price by the comfort of his home or office? Well, with our product, he can do that. But that's not only it. Like, as potential customers include companies and independent agents in the field of real estate. So what is the process of assessing the interior quality of residential buildings nowadays? Firstly, a potential interested buyer or seller is identified, which generates the need for the pricing. The agent must arrange the time and go to the site for an initial assessment in order to estimate the value of it, which is then reported back to the client for initial negotiations. So what are the problems of this method? Well, it can be time-consuming and expensive. On-site visits can cost from 200 to 700 euros. In Germany, there are between 0.5 to 1 million residential property transactions per year, which translates to a cost of 225 to 450 million euros a year, if we consider only one visit per transaction, but it can be more. So how can we avoid both time and money problems? Well, we for sure can do that, and this is how. Now my colleague Ing is going to explain the prototype we came up with.
Yeah, due to the lack of time, we didn't label our training dataset according to the quality level of inner equipment. So our current strategy is to solve this problem as the unsupervised classification task use the K-mean algorithm. We choose the K-mean algorithm to classify our datasets, and we choose the K number as 8 according to the data analysis. When people use the K-mean algorithm, because it is an unsupervised model, we don't know the number of class. So normally people will use the elbow method or silhouette score method to decide the K before training. We choose the silhouette score here, and we select 30 matrix as the input for our model. The K-mean algorithm were divided all the data into 8 classes. We can use, next slide please. Yeah, we can see that our classification result in this scatter diagram. The data points of same color have similar quality level. With the information related to the quality, we are able to further analyze how to rank these 8 classes. So we believe that supervised model would be a better and more accurate solution.
Perfect. So back to me. Like, our ideal solution, like considering we would have more time and resources, would be a web-based machine learning model to estimate the interior quality of residential buildings. So we start from acquiring different types of open source building data and then label this data by quality, utilizing several well-detailed real estate flyers. This is where we are different than other real estate pricing companies, because none of them take into account the combination of the 3D point clouds, aerial imagery, cadastral data, and socioeconomical data. We could consider this data and we would tailor this data based on criteria that could influence the interior quality. For example, if the attic was transformed into a living space, this can strongly indicate that the owner invests in the interior quality. The presence of solar panels is an indicative of investing in quality as well. Districts with higher income are also a good indicator. Having this labeled dataset with the parameters of interest, we can then train the model and deploy it. What are the benefits of our product? Well, it will generate fast and accurate interior quality estimations. It will make the early stage negotiations more dynamic and less bureaucratic. So the initial phase would be faster. And all of this will save time, money, and energy. The market, as we see today, because of our given data now, our serviceable obtainable market would be bonds real estate market, which is around 100 times smaller than the German market. In bonds market, the user targets would include independent realtors and regional agencies. Our business model would be based on a paid subscription method, in which potential users could pay a monthly or yearly fee in amount to access the model and generate the revenue. Our estimation price is around 45 euros a month at the moment. The competition, as far as we know, there are no companies that provide these estimations for the interior quality. And in order for us to be the first players in the market, we would have to act soon and fast. And the roadmap for implementing our product goes as in the slide. We believe that if followed, the product can be successfully diffused in the serviceable remote market. And we would do that, the strategy beginning with the diffusion of the idea by word of mouth in conventions, events, meetings. We can do that in associations of real estate. We can do target marketing, focus specifically on those real estate persons. We can do white papers with technical and economical reviews of our product, so we can prove the feasibility.
Unfortunately, your time is already up. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but it's exactly 6 minutes. However, the jury now has time to ask questions if there's anything they want clarified.
If I could start, thank you for the presentation, guys. Do you, among your team, have got experience, domain experience in the real estate market?
No. To be honest, this was a challenge that was given to us very in short notice, as all this challenge, the Makeathon in general. So no, we don't. But with the support of Cardium, which is the challenge setter, we could gain some really good insights and come up with a solution that we believe would be good for the real estate market.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe also a question from my side. So, I mean, since you are trying to tackle a very important thing, which is quality, I mean, very hard to measure it, right? So can you elaborate a little bit more on that? So how are you gonna measure quality?
So our idea is based on, as said in the slide for our ideal model, would be consider some data, like building data from 3D point clouds, aerial imagery, and cadastral data, together with socioeconomical data. And all that would be tailored into the specific parameters that could influence or could help us estimate the interior quality. And that, for example, like I said in the presentation, the attic, we can see from this data that the attic was transformed into a living space from the 3D point clouds, area imagery, and cadastral data. And from that, like we can assess that by doing that, the user was very interested in renewing his home, is very interested in investing on the inside quality, which can be a really good indicator for the quality. And the other parameters also have similar explanations that could justify its use.
For a simple example that I can add up to that is from the aerial imagery data, we can see that how old is the roof shaft or the quality of the roof of a house is, and then from that we can determine the quality of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. This helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. One question I would have is, do you not think quality is very subjective in nature? And I know that the data set did not have the user preferences, so it's fine for the MVP, but in your proposed solution, quality, some people might not, for example, care about the roof and like things which are related to this. So do you not think you should include some kind of a user quality definition in your model to determine quality personalized to each user? In the proposed solution, of course, not the current one.
Yeah, I think we can consider it when we label when we do the label.
Sorry to interrupt you again, but the time is super strict, and yeah.
Sorry for that.
That was it for now.
Thank you for your amazing pitch. And now it's time for the jury members to use their own pool of TUM.ai coins, starting off with Ekrem.
Yeah, I mean, I think very relevant idea, but the property market, from yet an outsider, is very complex. That's why maybe Antoine asked for this expertise, like with marketing agencies in between the bank and finance institutes. So I mean, it's a very hard topic. However, you seems to find a nice niche here. Still, there's a lot of things missing from my point of view. That's why I gave 50K here.
Thank you very much. Then we have Andreas.
Andreas,
Considering that there is probably, if you're really right with there's no competition out there yet for this, and you're improving on the input data that you're having for the training, I would actually go for 80K.
Thank you very much for your offer. Then we have Oliver.
So thank you a lot for the nice presentation. I gotta say, I was really impressed that you guys started actually with an unsupervised learning approach. I love to see that. Probably there's a lot of potential in here. However, unfortunately, I'm not very convinced of the idea so far. I think, well, first of all, interior is probably not the biggest part of valuation. And second, it seems like the data sources you're using are probably much better to determine other parts of valuation, but probably not the interior. And in terms of automated real estate valuation, there is a lot of competition out there. So I would unfortunately not invest in this round.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we have Anand.
So I did like the idea. However, given that interior quality estimation is not the biggest, let's say, it can be easily done with a visit or an online, and people tend to not trust a number so much as other aspects, and also the personalization aspect, which I know is not given in a data set, but I would have liked to see it in the proposed solution, as well as the fact that yes, the data set did not have labels, but from what I know and heard about a data set in the season jury, it did have enough proxies to infer some kind of labels, proxy labels. So would have been great to see some kind of proxy labeled supervised solution here. So I would give it, however, it's great effort and 48 hours, so it's 60K.
Thank you very much. And up next we have Antoine.
So I'd like to, I'd like my other member of the jury. I think that we got to realize that you guys are working into a small amount of time in something which is really new. And I don't think that, I'd like to give you 75K, but I really like to stress that when companies and teams start, they don't try to reach to a Series A type of funding. So at the stage where you are, whatever happens, this is a very good start, and I would like to think of this 75K for you guys to be able to stay in place and have the time to deepen the domain knowledge so that you can continue on working on this project.
Thank you so much for the investment. Let's again have a quick overview of the investments that have happened thus far and how much money each jury member has left. Looks good. Thus far, we still have one winner, but it doesn't mean that nothing can change. So yeah, let's move on to the next team.
So team number 3, the Green Spectres from Environment and Sustainability is up next. Someone from the team in the call with us.
Yes, we are there.
Perfect. Very good to have you. Are you ready to present?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Very cool. You can see your screen as well. So yeah, go ahead and good luck to you as well.
Good luck.
Perfect, thank you. Hello, we are the Green Spectres. My name is Tobias, and I'm happy to welcome you to the presentation of our Makeathon project. Tackling climate change is the most urgent challenge of our time. Companies are realizing this as well and have recently started giving promises like being net zero carbon by 2040. But there's one problem: greenwashing. How companies present themselves does not necessarily reflect their actual sustainable and decarbonizing actions. The public perception of their greenliness can differ a lot. Overall, this leads to intransparency and bad investment decisions, which in turn hurt our aspirations of tackling climate change. What do we offer? We created the platform Green Spectre, that you can see on the left here, that makes greenwashing more transparent. Using sentiment analysis, we monitor the public perception through tweets in 8 different languages, and by leveraging established natural language processing techniques, we automatically score companies' sustainability measures. On our platform, there's an interactive dashboard with up-to-date analysis on a company's greenliness. The main highlight is how the ranking of a company's measures differs from the public opinion. But who would be interested in buying such a platform? Our business expert Carmen will give you some insights on this now.
All right, first, we offer our solution to in-house investors at Siemens to make green investments. So their investment decision does not only depend on company reports, but also on the company's public perception. Second, we approach investment banks to improve their decision-making on the greeniness of a company. Third, we offer access to our platform to companies who suffer from poor perception with regards to their green activities. And fourth, we also provide limited access to the general public to incentivize investors and companies to take really green actions instead of greenwashing, as this could actually be the cheapest option for them. So in which markets are we going to operate? Let's have a look at one of them in detail, the market of investment banking. The total addressable market here is the global market of investment banking and brokerage, which in 2020 had a size of 330 growth or 3.4% per annum over the last 5 years. The SAM are the banks investing in green companies and sustainable ETFs, and the SOM are sustainable investment banks in Germany. But for sure, we're not the only one in our market. So who are going to be our competitors? For instance, OL Analytics, Impact and Berenberg, but these companies focus primarily on the sentiment on a given topic coming from larger media corporations. However, we set ourselves apart from them by using sentiment analysis on new real-time sources like Twitter, where ordinary people could directly voice their opinions. So how are we going to earn money? On the one hand, we sell access to the platform to internal in-house investors. On the other hand, we base our revenue on monthly subscription fees. We target investment banks as well as companies that suffer from poor public perception. And we also offer limited access to the platform to the general public for a reduced fee. In addition, we offer consulting to poorly communicating companies. If we would start tomorrow, these would be our next steps. We would refine the analysis and develop the platform with different views for diverse customers. And furthermore, we would contact in-house investors and give workshops on how to use the platform. And next, we plan to survey the demand of investment banks to further refine our market positioning in this area. So who is going to do all this? We, the Green Spectres, Dimitro, Ivan, Tashko, Tobias, and me, Carmen. And with that, I will hand over to Tobias again, who will present you our demo.
Thank you, Carmen. Now we have some time to look at the actual interactive dashboard that we created. So here we see the 30 different companies that we analyzed, and we get a ranking of their actual sustainable actions as like what they want to implement, and can compare that to the actual public perception of the sustainability of the company on Twitter. And of course, there's a discrepancy. So for example, there are some companies, such as Amazon here, that has a rather bad ranking, but their public perception on Twitter is better than that. And on the other hand, there are also companies that whose public perception is much worse than their actual ranking, such as the Bank of America. We also get some interesting insights when clustering the companies. So we see that some companies, such as oil firms, they tend to pursue the same set of sustainable actions, as well as food companies, McDonald's and Pepsi here, or tech companies, Facebook and Apple. So this is interesting to see that companies are pursuing kind of the same ideas when they're in the same business sector. But we can furthermore dig down and analyze a specific company. So Amazon here, again, in this example, we can see what are the reasons for the bad ranking. We see, for example, that the carbon emission statement is not that good in comparison to others. We also see that we get a historical development of the public perception on Twitter over time. And we can also look at some positive or negative tweets here that we get from Twitter. So we see that some people are demanding specific things in terms of becoming more carbon neutral from the company here. And last but not least, we can also investigate certain sustainability topics, such as how well protecting the forests or fully electric delivery is perceived on Twitter. And there is a huge difference here. And we can search in our data set for a specific keyword here, and then we see how people are perceiving that. So with these words, I would like to conclude the demo, and thank you for your attention. You can also check out the demo yourself, and we are now happy to take your questions.
Perfectly on time. And then I'll immediately will hand over to the jury to ask questions. Thank you for your pitch.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would have one. I mean, great, impactful solution. First of all, what strikes my mind is like, actually, the companies are trying to greenwash their image through Twitter and social media, right? So, when you're taking this data, so can you elaborate a little bit more on the diversity of your data? Because on one hand, doing a sentiment analysis on Twitter data is not a big deal. And I think this could really relate to false information at the end. So can you elaborate more how you want to tackle this one?
Yeah, so what we are also doing is we are weighting the tweets by some measure, so it kind of to get an insight into how impactful that particular opinion was. And so we use the number of likes and replies and retweets and so on. So if a company just like pumps out tweets that like wants to make the company appear more green than it actually is, then it only really affects the rating in the end if these tweets are also retweeted and like perceived in the public. Of course, then if this works, we will see this in our analysis as well. But I guess it's important to make this visible in the first hand. I hope this answers the question.
Not well enough, but I will, in sake of the time, let other judges also ask questions.
Yeah, I'm not convinced of the actual ranking here. Definitely, especially even the perceived ranking could, of course, depend. Especially when Google, for example, is one of the most greenest in terms of carbon emissions and such out there in terms of tech companies, and the actual ranking is quite low. So I'm wondering the sources for this, and secondly, the technical aspects, like it's doing just sentiment analysis, and also the model aspect was not really covered. I'm not really convinced. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, sure. So like the actual ranking that we come up here, this is based on ESG reports, so the environment and sustainability reports that the companies give out themselves. And like these are in like comparison to the other companies here. So like a score of 3 here doesn't necessarily have to be that it's like bad. It just means that it's like not the best in terms of comparison to the others. In terms of the technologies that we are using, so we are comparing these reports, we are using classical NLP methods to kind of get the main topics out of them. And for the sentiment analysis, we use a pre-trained Roberta XL sentiment analysis model to get the sentiment on Twitter, and we actually validated the performance of this model on our subset of sustainable related tweets to see if the sentiment that we get from that actually kind of makes sense.
That's it, unfortunately, with the time, but you just about got your answer in.
Let's
do the
so that's a technology.
Starting with Antoine, how much would you like to invest?
Sorry, I was muted. I think you guys are the beginning. There's a lot of work. I think the topics that you are trying to address is the important one, but you still have a lot of work. I would probably size with my first colleague and ask the question about the relevance of the source of the data set. So I'll give you 25K so that you can continue doing the analysis.
That was 25K, right?
25. Finalist.
Thank you. Then we have Oliver.
Well, thanks a lot for the presentation. I was actually deeply impressed, not only by the holistic approach that you took, but also by the nice prototype. Very impressive what you got done in 48 hours. There's probably a lot of questions still to be asked, so I understand the skepticism, but I do see 2 things. First, there is probably a lot of need for this, and probably the need is even bigger than what you presented tonight. And second, I see a lot of technical ways to solve the problems in the way. I think the solution can be actually much broader than what you suggested tonight. And well, you're just starting right now. One of the applications I see, for instance, also like internal reputation management for firms. So I see a large market for that. There's probably a lot of things you still need to solve, but this is what investing is all about. So I would actually go for 200K here in this case.
Thank you. Then we would like to hear Anand.
Yes, so I did like the prototype a lot, and the fact that when you explained the technology you used. However, I'm not convinced of the data sources, and I'm also not convinced of the way you extracted the public perception ranking and how you validated this. So it's a very subjective thing to do public perception, and for the companies to actually believe you that this is the actual public perception, I think there's ways to go before somebody pays like the amounts to an external company for this. So I would side with 40K.
Up next is Andreas.
Yeah, thank you. So I really liked what you came up with. I know the input data very well since we were the challenge setters here. So I know how difficult it is to make anything comparable in this still evolving governance frameworks of ESG. So given that you want to work on the data and refine your analysis, and I think this is a huge market, I go with 180K.
Thank you very much. And last in this investment round, we have Ekrem.
Yeah, I really like the idea, but this is the bigger thing I like, because all the rest, as Oliver mentioned already, needs to be really, think through and need to be well designed. But still, it is very, very relevant and highly impactful. Giving that fact, I give it 80K.
Very interesting and wide range of investments in this team. Very interesting. So let's look at the final score that we have. Yeah, very close to the SpeakEasy one as well.
Yeah.
Now we come to our last pitch before our little break that we'll have, which is
the AI Vengers.
AI Vengers.
Team number 4 from Track, Infrastructure, and City Services. Welcome to AI Vengers.
Is anybody here?
Hey, yes, we're here.
Hi, glad to.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you. Are you ready to present?
Let me just quickly check. I think we are.
Perfect.
Yes, looks good.
You can share your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Cannot see it yet, but now it should be fine. Yeah, looks very good. Then your 6 minutes will start now, and good luck to you all.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much for attending our pitch here. We are Team AI Vengers, and we're going to present to you our solution, Where to Go today. So first, let us start by sketching out the problem that we see and that we're solving. Based on recent studies, we estimate that roughly 10% of all the taxi mileage that is being traveled each year is actually unnecessary movement due to suboptimal vehicle positioning. That means that taxis are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And what that means is that we see 336 million kilometers that are traveled unnecessarily, 15 million euros in fuel that are lost, and also 89,000 tons of CO2 that are emitted and wasted, basically. And these numbers apply only to Germany and per year. So that's vast numbers. And we are really upset by that inefficiency, which is why we set out to develop our solution, Where to Go. Where to Go is an AI-enabled smart fleet management solution for taxi providers, which consists of 2 components. So for one, we created a machine learning-based model for predicting the demand in the city at a given time. It's basically a heat map of demand with time resolution. And also on top of that, we build an optimization algorithm, which will enable efficient route planning and strategic positioning of vehicles based on the demand, based on the position of the vehicle, and also the position of other vehicles that are operating in the city, and other taxis in particular. And this whole solution is then directly delivered to our users, for example, the drivers and devices, through our mobile app and our website, which we're now going to present to you so that you get a better picture of what this solution looks like.
So we are presenting our solution on the website that we have created. Here you can see the map of New York, and our heat map is layered on top of the map of New York. Our heat map is colored according to the expected number of taxi pickups that are predicted by our model. For this problem, we decided to cluster the whole area of New York into different clusters, and we are predicting for each individual cluster. The results that you see are the result of the linear regression model that we trained. And this model is trained on historical data. It also takes into consideration the weekday and also the position of the location. We also experimented with graph convolutional neural networks to better utilize spatiotemporal information, and also we experimented with an ensemble model to better utilize the periodicity of the data that we are using. We are also showing recommendations for individual cab drivers. Here on the left, you can see the heat map of our recommendations, while on the right are our top 3 recommendations. The recommendations are decided based on the scores that we assign to them, and these scores are calculated according to our predictions, distances to target locations, and available cabs at the target locations.
Perfect. And with that, like by equipping taxi drivers or taxi drivers in general with the solution and with the information that it entails, we believe that we can cut the unnecessary travel times by at least 10%. So that would mean that we save our customers in Germany 5 million euros in fuel per year, 1.7 million euros in other variable costs like maintenance, for example. And we also contribute to being able to satisfy their customers better, which means like the passengers, the taxi passengers, they don't have to wait for taxis that long, which will increase their satisfaction. Looking at the market, we see that there's a fleet size of roughly 1 million taxis in Europe at the moment. And by assuming that we can appropriate 50% of the value that we are creating, so that would correspond to a €5 license fee or €5 subscription fee per vehicle per month, we estimate that our market potential is 50 million for Europe in 2021. This is a very decent market size, especially given our low cost structure, enable us to maintain a sustainable, profitable business model in the short run. But what we are actually aiming for is a much larger market, and that is the market of robotaxis. So in the future, robotaxis, 6 million robotaxis are predicted to roll through the streets of Europe. And that would, given the same subscription fee model, we give us a 300 million market volume. So this is the long-term market which we're aiming for. And we want to do this with the following business model, just to quickly recap and summarize this. We have 2 different main customer segments. One is conventional taxi operators, one are robo-taxi operators. Our revenue model is a software as a service subscription model priced at €4 per month in vehicle. And we strongly profit from network effects, because if we have more customers, we have more data. And if we have more data, we can make better predictions, leading to getting even more customers in the future. And to leverage the network effect, we plan to scale really rapidly. So our plan is to roll out our solution to the 6 largest cities in Germany by 2022. And then in the next year, already expand to other locations in Europe in order to very early on build our models there and to gather the data that we require. On the other hand, we also focus on the robo-taxi strategy and to getting a foot in the door there as early as possible. Here we want to leverage the data that we collect through regular taxis in order to solve the cold start problems for robo-taxi fleet optimization. Here we want to focus on innovators and early adopters, like, for example, the company Mobileye, which sets out to roll out their solution in 2022 in Munich. And in order to achieve this, we're looking for your investment, we're looking for your expertise and your network so we can grow our business efficiently in the future. Thank you very much.
All time. Keep going. So let's jump right into the question round. Jury, go ahead.
Maybe I could just start. So I like the visual side of the application, which is always nice to see. But I understand that Uber is drowning under data and try to do a lot of analysis. Do you know how these guys are trying to tackle this problem, and if other guys are not doing anything like this, which is similar?
Yeah, that is a very good question. So we also see Uber as one of the main competitors, especially when thinking about how we get into this robo-fleet market in the future. It's definitely a point that they gather large amounts of data. However, at the moment, there's still a very solid taxi industry, especially in Europe. So we really want to enable independent companies in the future to also be able to offer these autonomous taxi fleets. And we believe that there's a lot of data, or we know that there's a lot of data in taxis outside of Uber, especially in Germany, for example, and also in other cities. So yeah, by really focusing on these independent taxi providers, we believe that we can gain enough data to build very reliable models and therefore enable independent companies in the future to operate their services as well.
Just linking to the previous question, Uber, since it's, I think one thing which could be really, Uber is being restricted a lot, like Uber is not deployed everywhere. So have you considered specifically targeting markets where Uber has limited presence in?
Yes, definitely, exactly. That's also why we're focusing so much on Europe and in particular on Germany. There are still many restrictions to Uber. There was also a ban in London for a while. I think that has now been relieved again, but there's like ongoing turmoil around the legal aspects of Uber, especially in Europe and the EU. So this is why we in particular wanted to roll out our model there at the beginning in these cities.
For your model, data is everything, right? So how would you go about attaining that critical mass to get the network effects going? Because that I can think of a very complex problem to handle.
Yes, definitely. So what we plan to do is that we cooperate with large taxi providers at the beginning, which will then supply us with the data. We will also, so we have to think about how we actually incentivize them to cooperate with us. And what we thought about is to initially basically offer this solution for a very low cost or no cost at all, so that we basically really have a partnership model in order to develop our solution such that we can gain a critical mass. And this is also exactly why we are focusing on larger cities at first, because there are also a lot of large, like big ticket customers there, fleet operators, which have a...
That's already, it's worth the time, but I think you got your chance to answer questions of the jury quite well.
Thank you for your pitch. And now, as usual, it's time for the investment round. Starting off with Anand.
So I really like the comprehensiveness of both the business part and the way they have identified the growth market in various countries, the areas Uber is lacking in or restricted in, as well as the robotaxi market, as well as the live demo, provided it's not just a mock-up. I'm giving the benefit of doubt for this, as well as the technical aspects and with live demo and the way they have phrased it into an app and have shown so many of the benefits from fuel savings and considered even the network and the user impact. So I do think if just the only thing that's lacking is of course more data, but obviously in 48 hours, I think it was super impressive. So I would give it a 250.
Thank you very much for your offer. Up next, we have Andreas.
So I can only add to that. I really like the comprehensiveness of the whole idea, but I'm less convinced of getting to all the data. And I think also there's a lot of competition out there in this market. So I would only go for 50K here.
Up next is Oliver.
Well, again, thanks a lot for presenting. Really nice to see what you did in such a short time. I do agree that probably there is one obvious big competitor out there, and that is like Uber. So it might be very hard to get around here, especially if you think about robot taxis. If you address the regular taxi market, I think that's a very relevant thing to do. I guess the main thing that is still lacking, though, is some kind of feedback loop. I guess the one thing that really helped Uber to kind of like dominate this market quite a bit is that they know exactly what is working, what is not. This is something that might just be missing if you just really distribute it to regular cab drivers. That is like an integral part of the AI problem that still needs to be solved. But I think there's a lot more that can be tried. So I would like to give you 50K as well to give you a chance to get started.
That sounds like an amazing offer. And now we can hear from Ekrem.
Yeah, great presentation, great demo. First of all, I really like this, and I think you guys noted that just saving costs like 5 million per year of fuel and so on was not that big relevant and the big saving. That's why I really like the connection and the future vision of robo-taxis, which makes it suddenly very appealing and very future-proofed and sustainable. Even though I really think that needs to be done, but the general, vision and roadmap and all the objectives, I really like it. Hence, I give it 100K.
Thank you for your investment. And last but not least, Antoine.
So I also appreciate very much the work which has been done. The user interface, is also something which is nice, and one should not underestimate the importance. I still think that you're going to have more work to do on the market, and in particular when you think of the challenge of the cost of acquisition of going to independent guys compared to their ability to pay. So I was thinking of giving you 50K, but I'd like to go to 75 because no one has made any point on the fact that the title of the company is very cool. So 75.
Very important. I like it. Okay, then before we go into our 10-minute break, let's have a final look at the investments that have been done so far. We can see that it's actually, wow, 2 of them are exactly the same, very interesting. So it'll be very cool to then see what the group investment will give later.
Interesting rates we have today.
Very close.
But however, everything can change up until the final second.
Exactly. But yeah, then without further ado, we'll go into a 10-minute break and
see you then.
See you soon, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to TUM.ai Makeathon. We just had a short break and we have seen the first 4 pitches. Now we are excited to see the last 4 of our finalists. And up next, it's ChangeMaker from the social impact track. Good evening, ChangeMaker. Is somebody from the team here?
Hello, yes.
Hello, nice to have you. Are you ready to present?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Then you may share your screen now.
Okay.
I cannot see it yet, but now it's there. Perfect. Looks good. Then, yeah, good luck to you and see you soon.
See you.
Thanks a lot. Welcome. We are Team ChangeMaker, and our product is the AgriBuddy, an app to plant smarter, so deciding which crop is the one you want to grow. This is our team. We are 5 people from very diverse backgrounds, and the problem we want to tackle is that farmers, especially in developing economies, don't really know which crop will be the best economically to plant on their fields. And for this, I will show you now our prototype, the solution to that, AgriBuddy. So when starting the app, after logging in, you have 3 different subscription models. And now I'll show you the functionality of the basic one. So when entering a location, and optionally also the field, the size of the field as the area, you get a prediction of the crop that grows optimally on average in your local area. And so in this area in Adilabad in India, which is where we are basing the whole model on right now, the prediction is sugarcane, and the estimated turnover of one harvest predicted with real market prices would be approximately 64,000 euros. So now let's over at 100 hectare of the field. So now let's go into the premium features where you get personalized predictions. So the same information as before, but now you can put in much more detailed data about the soil type you locally have and temperature and climate data. So now for the presentation, we put in some realistic values and a better prediction comes out. So now the watermelon would be the optimal crop and the estimated turnover is higher than before. And now I'll show you something very interesting. So when we put in new data, we had now about 70 millimeters of rainfall a month. If that were to change to 30, we can update that and get a new prediction for the optimal crop, which is a muskmelon here. So muskmelons actually have less water content than watermelons have. So it makes sense that when you have less rainfall, you can't grow watermelons anymore, but muskmelons are the optimal choice because they also like the same sort of soil. And I want to emphasize this. So in just 2 days and a limited data set, we managed to have a model that really gives valid results. And it will only work better because we have a elegant solution to improve our data set with a win-win situation. We want the customer to come back and tell us how much they actually produce in the area. And for that, they get vouchers for the B2B shop where they buy the crops we just recommended. We, on the other hand, get more data, an unfair advantage above the competition because they don't have that, and a commission from the shop. And now the business part by Ayush.
Okay, so hello, my name is Ayush and I come from India. So when I spoke to the local farmers here, so I actually saw a problem. So the local farmers here, they actually produce their crop based on their traditional knowledge and experiences. They do not take advantage of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So here is our market. So when I did the market opportunity navigator for our product, so what I observed, so we will be entering the market with the users, those who already have smartphones and internet access. And we also need to expand our market. For us, the growth market will be the users who do not have a smartphone and internet access, like the users, those who are based in the remote access. And once our pilot is completed in India, so we would like to also incorporate the B2B, like shops, agriculture-based startups and companies, and also B2G, government programs and agri-based economies. So this is our model, and this is only for India, but we will planning to expand it globally. So let's talk about revenue. So if you see from this revenue model, so our main income is coming from the subscription and also from leasing of the IPs, which we will be filing it. So our IPs will be like copyrights for the source code and the trademark for our Agribuddy application. And if you see on the left side, we have two subscription models wherein we have a €4 and you'll be getting half of it as a voucher, which you can use later in our shop. And for premium, it's like €10 and you'll be getting a voucher. But our main focus is not to make the money. As I mentioned earlier, there are 60% of the world's farmers who do not have those access to smartphone and internet. So once our pilot is completed and we have revenue generated, then we would like to make a special add-on as a social impact. So we have a subsidy-based subscription package for the farmers. So we'll be providing at €10 per month, and we'll be offering a basic offline application also with a smartphone. So you can see our business model is very unique. We have enabled the untouched market segment, and now we have enabled the users who also do not have smartphones and internet access. So we know who our competitors are. So basically we have two competitors. So currently there are multiple startups, those who are working in
I'm really sorry, but that's already it with your time. However, the jury now has time to ask questions that are still open for them. So you have 3 minutes, go ahead.
Since this is an AI hackathon, I would love to hear anything about modeling and how it works, and also the explainability, because why should farmers believe your prediction, right? There's a lot at stake. So could you elaborate on if you have integrated or thought of integrating any details about the tech and the explainability of your results?
Yes, I can go into that. So what we have is a really good data set, or many data sets regarding the district. So GPS data and climate data and soil specificity. So everything you saw in the premium features, all of these variables. Now, based on that, we know the area of the fields. We then get the production of the crops in tons. And then we also have government-based APMC commodity price values for these crops. So with this, we then get to know which crop is the optimal one by production per area for these given variables. The optimization then is done with decision trees. So because all of the data is in a linear space, it makes sense to have many linear separators to get a good chance for generalization in in these areas. So yeah, decision forests are where the underlying model for optimization.
Okay.
You talked about the social impact, which I think it's great. But have you also thought about the, let's say, sustainability and environmental impact such a incentivization of farmers to the greatest revenue of the crops they grow would have? So in my mind, this could lead to a lot of monocultures in certain areas, for example, that on the long run would deteriorate the soil quality, for example.
Yes, we have thought about it. So I'd like to take that question. So our model is based on a best prediction, and so there are also guidelines from the government which we are taking into account. So, but our model basically predicts the best crop for that area. And every area in India, basically they have different topographical or geographical indicators and landmarks. So the soil type changes like every 100 kilometers, you can say. So based on that, we are predicting the best crop.
One quick question, the revenue that you're mentioning, these are estimates because for the market of India, these are big numbers. So you would be asking a lot from a revenue standpoint from farmers.
I'm sorry to time this up for question and answers. And now we move on into the investment round, starting with Oliver.
Well, I think you're addressing a very important problem here. So I really like that you took up this idea. I'm a little bit hesitant to truly invest right now because I think this is still like an AI Makeathon, and I think the problem you presented today probably can be easily solved without AI at all. So I'm a bit skeptical here. However, I do see that there's probably a lot of potential to apply AI here for useful use cases within your domain. For instance, I don't know, image recognition for certain kind of crops where you might have parasites or anything like that. And so for the benefit of doubt, I would like to invest 100K here.
Thank you very much for your investment. Next, we would like to hear Antoine.
So thanks for the presentation. The topic you are mentioning is important. I have a friend who runs GAME, Global Alliance for Mass Entrepreneurship in India, and he's going to be on our podcast at the end of the year. And it's very important to have, entrepreneurial activities in places like India. I think you have huge amount of work to do. You are, I think, scratching the surface, both technically, market-wise, revenue and everything, but it's an important topic. So I'd like to give you 75K.
Thank you very much. Then down the line, we have Ekrem.
Great stuff, guys. I really, really like it. And this really resonates quite well also with the project we have as Microsoft called FarmBeat, where we know that by 2015, the demand for food is expected to outspace production by over 70%, right? So that's why we need to do something on that. And I mean, funny enough, we are using drones and sensors and other machine learning algorithms to really, impact and help farmers. I think, but what we missed out is to get the data from the farmers itself, right? The knowledge which you kind of cover. I'm totally with Oliver, right? If we can combine the actual knowledge by the farmers plus the other one which we can generate with the help of IoT and all this kind of stuff, will end up to a huge impact. Hence, I totally believe in that and invest 100K here.
Thank you very much. Then we have Anand.
So I love the idea. Definitely a very useful one. However, I'm a little bit unconvinced by the AI aspect of things. As already pointed out, it could also be addressed very easily without the AI. And also, since it is an AI hackathon and the models and the technical description mentioned, I think it could be augmented with a lot more data. I would have loved to see a little bit more future steps of how you can improve the model, some evaluation of how well it actually works, like data of like in your test set or some kind of. So from that point of view, I would like to invest 75K.
We're pleased to hear that. And we have a last to remember, that is Andreas.
Yes, thank you. So I'm a bit hesitant due to basically the question that I asked, that we incentivize maybe by the wrong means when providing such tools to a broad band of farmers. But I see potential there. So I would go for 50K so you can build on your idea and maybe put it into the right direction.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. These investments have actually been very similar. The jury seems to agree. Let's have a look at the overall scores thus far. Also good score by Team ChangeMaker.
Looks like a tight race.
But there's still a lot of money in the game, as we can see on the right. So yeah, let's move on to the next.
Interesting. Then we have a team from the environmental sustainability track, and that is Team Foodies. Welcome.
Team Foodies, are you here?
Yes, we are here.
A lot of energy, I like it. Go. Or your screen as well. So yeah, you have your 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about food waste. So, broccoli, bought fresh weeks ago, now it's bad. You have to throw it away. You don't like that. We don't like that. No one likes that. No one likes to throw away food. So, no one likes to throw away food. So, no one likes to throw away food. And by throwing away food, we are basically throwing away value that could have been consumed otherwise. So, we are throwing away money. And to put another load on our conscience, right? This is also not sustainably friendly for the environment, considering global greenhouse gas emissions. So, and the worst part about this, we are the problem, the households. Comparing the global greenhouse gas emissions, comparing the global household food waste with food production and food processing and food service, we are over 50%. This is a problem. And enter our solution, Foodies. With Foodies, we can easily manage and change the way we handle food consumption. With artificial intelligence, we can generate recipes based on our user preferences, diets, and available ingredients. We can create more variety in our diet. We can save money because with smart decisions, we can create efficient food trips and food shopping lists. And by the end of the day, we are reducing down our food waste. How this looks like is our application, our solution tracks a virtual fridge. We enter our groceries, and our advanced recipe recommender system generates recipe based on that. How this looks like exactly will be presented to you by our technical demo. Maria, please take over.
Hi, so I will be responsible for the demo, and essentially our application is a mobile application. So right here you can see the landing page. At the bottom of the landing page, you can see some groceries. So these groceries are all of the groceries you currently have in your own household. Each of the groceries will be marked and is marked with one of the three colors, green, red, and yellow. So essentially these colors mean when the food is about to expire. For example, red means that it is really about to expire and you really need to utilize that before throwing it away. So of course, red ingredients will also send you some notifications as well so that you remember to utilize them and don't throw them away. And at the bottom and at the top of the page, you can see some recipes. So the recipes are recommended on the groceries that you have in your household right now, but most of all, they're recommended on the ingredients that are about to expire. For example, here, the apple 2 kilograms are about to expire, and this is why we can mostly see some apple recipes at the top. By clicking on one of the recipes, you will be directed to another page which shows all the instructions and also presents a shopping list for the concrete recipe so that you won't waste. We can as well enter some groceries manually by ourselves by specifying the name, the quantity, and we can also use the camera and show the camera, for example, an apple, capture the photo, and edit. As you can see, apple 1 piece. When you submit it, it will be in our page, and the recipes will be adjusted as well. You can also delete some of the ingredients if you use them, and again, the recipes will be adjusted. So yeah, this is for the demo. Almo, please go on.
Thank you very much for this pleasant experience, Maria. So let's talk about business now. Well, our pricing model consists of a simple freemium subscription model. And our market analysis shows that we're similar to the smart refrigerators market, but we can remove several of the barriers of entry by offering a low-cost app. So basically, we take the fridge out of smart fridges, and we are left with smart. So we mainly target our customers of large households, for example, co-living communities, and the early adopters, for example, tech enthusiast households. And to target them, we have our next steps, for example, offering a smart AI that also creates individual suggestions, for example, based on diet. And we can also use the data from our app to create some statistics about how much food is thrown away, which food is thrown away. So this can be used in a broader sense. Also, we want to add collaborative virtual fridge so that people from large households can manage their food wisely together. Most importantly, we want to integrate multiple third-party vendors, for example, Amazon Fresh or Gorillas, so that we can use the newly developing food delivery marketplace to offer our customers the best possible customer experience. For example, they can use the integrations to directly import the data about the food that they bought, about the expiration date of the food, about the diet and everything. And also what's really important is they can generate the recipes from our app directly and order only the ingredients that they really need directly inside of our app. So who are we? We are an international team from 3 different time zones, and we are really glad to have this opportunity to share our idea with you. And so let's together enjoy our food in the sustainable way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Let's jump right into the question round with the jury. Go ahead.
Then I'll go ahead. Well, thanks a lot for pitching. Really nice to see what you did in such a short time. I think addressing food waste is incredibly important, and I personally see the problem that you're addressing because I feel it myself. However, I think like the main question to me is, how do you make sure that people actually use it? How do you make sure that people actually track their groceries and what they consume? It's probably an annoying thing to do. So how do you shortcut that, and how do you make this more entertaining maybe?
Yes, this is why we want to make the customer journey as pleasant as possible. For example, by using visual recognition systems, we can directly like track, okay, this is an apple. We want to integrate, we thought about using a barcode scanner directly from the app, and then you can access a database like open food database that has information about nutrition, about expiration dates and everything. With our third-party integrations, because we expect the food online distribution market will grow, and people will order more online, and then we can use this growing market to piggyback our app on this, and we can use the integrations to directly import the settings, so then the customer will almost have to do nothing and will be automatically added. So we have really a seamless integration to multiple ways to input the data, and this will allow the users to input their data really easily.
Thanks.
You talked about the AI component of the visual recognition of food, for example, in order to input it into the app. The second part, as I understand it, is a recommendation system. Can you quickly elaborate on what's behind that?
So the basis of our recommendation system is user ratings. We are using we are taking ratings of recipes, and we are making a model that predicts the ratings that the user will create on recipes that the user hasn't rated yet. So that's how we predict the recipes to use. And then we take the recipes that the user hasn't rated yet, the best ones, and apply a logic into it to get the ones that are using foods that are about to expire, or foods that are better used to be used efficiently.
I'd like to add on to this. So basically, we use a KNN model to analyze the ratings of other users, and with respect to what our user wants, we will recommend the dishes based on the ingredients they have and the ratings that they want. So we recommend a dish according to that.
Yeah, I think there might not be too much time left, unless you want to add something for 5 seconds. We can move on to the investment round now. But thank you so much for your pitch.
Thank you very much. Jumping straight in with Anand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I like the idea, and I also like the whole demonstration. However, normally determining the quality of food has many other aspects, which that depends on the kind of food, and visual aspects are not going to suffice. I'm not sure if about the business model, if people will be willing to pay that much. However, I really like it's something I would definitely use, since I'm horrible at determining basically bad food. So I would say more 110K.
Thank you for your investment. Sounds amazing. Up next, Oliver.
Well, so as I mentioned before, I think the problem you're addressing is incredibly important. However, I do see that probably quite a few companies out there tried to implement exactly this already and probably had a hard time really getting customer traction here and making sure people actually use it. I do see that there's a lot of potential to use AI in this, maybe put automatic picture taking, basically taking the pain out of tracking your food. And kind of like as an exploratory basis, I'd like to give you 50K.
Thank you. Furthermore, we have Antoine.
So I'm quite aligned with Oliver here. I like the demo and the topic, and it's really great in such a short amount of time. So congrats on these. I was looking at this and asking myself if I would have the discipline to go through all of these, and I may be not in your target group. So I'd like to give 50K to encourage you, but not please don't spend more time developing and so on. Use these to do focus groups, talk to the user, understand more how they would feel before doing any more development on your platform.
Sounds like a great advice. Then we have Ekrem.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the idea, and I think the reaction of the judges saying I would use the app is a great indicator that you really nailed it in terms of customers, right? So, and I think if you solve the incentivizing thingy, that would really, crack the business model, first of all. Second, I think it falls and stands with the integration of third-party tools. So I'm imagining I'm just going and ordering online, or being in my supermarket using my loyalty card, and straight away it runs into the apps, right? So when I have all my grocery list automatically, and I no need to capture it manually, because this would be a showstopper, because no one will make it manually, right? So, but given all the facts and believing in the vision, I would give it 150K here.
And up next we have Andreas.
So I really like the concept of that virtual fridge, and like the others, I would be inclined to use that myself. Nevertheless, I also think there's a lot of competition on the market. So I would give you 80K to further explore.
Sounds great. We had all of our investments.
Now let's once again have a look at the overview of what money has been invested and how much money the jury has left.
It looks like some of the teams have shared a similar amount.
The last teams have been very small.
So, interesting outcome. Then we have another team from the infrastructure and public city services, and that is Carbolytics.ai.
Is anybody here of the Carbolytics team?
Yes.
Perfect. Are you ready to present your pitch?
Just one second.
Yeah, okay. Looks good. Then you have your 6 minutes now, and we wish you good luck.
Good luck.
Hello, everybody. We are Carbolytics, and welcome to our pitch of CabMate. The New York cab drivers face rough times. The increasing competition over the last years and the pandemic almost disrupted the whole industry. The increasing demand and higher prices from competitors leave room for hope. The problem is the low utilization of the cabs. They need to find their next customer very fast. Otherwise, this results in low income and long working hours. In numbers, this means a cab's utilization is roughly about only 55% of its working time, which leads to $900 million in lost revenue every year and 50 million liters of fuel just burned to find the next customer. But is there actually space in 2021 for the cab industry? We believe so, because it's a quick, flexible, and private way to cruise the city. It's cheaper than some of its competitors, it's a tradition and a job driver. The existing solutions like Uber and Lyft don't tackle the driver's problems. They provide mobility, but on the back of the drivers, by swamping the cities with thousands of cars. Curb, on the other hand, provides a platform also centered on the customer with payment services, for example. So our solution is simple. We promise one more trip per shift for the drivers. And we do this with CabMate. CabMate is designed to assist cab drivers every day by increasing their efficiency, minimizing their empty cruise time, and leaving them with $350 more per month. How does CabMate work? I will use screencasts to show you the process. However, I encourage you to use the QR code in the bottom right center to check out the application for yourself. We start on the home screen, where the driver enters its current location. From there, we proceed to our AI backend. Predicts the demand and the fare rate for the upcoming 30 minutes for every district in the city. This is possible because of the processing of huge amounts of data from the New York Taxi and Limousine Commission that we build a model around to do those predictions. In the end, for our MVP, we use a dense neural network with preprocessed features. However, with time, there's a lot of improvement possibilities to the model. The predictions are then tailor-fitted and sent to the customer, the driver, in fact. Together with the distance of every district to the drivers, we calculate a utility score, which is then shown on a map, an interactive one. We also show the districts with the most utility to the driver in terms of profit. The driver can then select the district he wants to go to, and with just one push of a button, he's going to a Google Maps navigation screen, leading him right into the heart of the district he wants to go. Today, the driver can see his statistics, such as productivity, his earnings, his tip, and time rated in the My Stats. There he can also connect with fellow drivers. The business model is kept simple. One more trip per shift for $1 a day. With an average cost of $15 per ride, $14 go to the driver, helping them revitalize their sector. Only $1 is left for our service, which is still sufficient because we work efficiently. Our goal is to attract 10% of New York City's cab drivers to use CabMate within the first year. We plan on doing so by using the Taxi and Limousine Commission as a starting point, free trial periods, and a word of mouth from motivated and talkative taxi drivers. Hence, creating a win-win-and-win situation with a profitable business model, assisting the drivers in earning more, and having a small but positive impact on the environment. The market size is also considerably large, with 25,000 drivers alone in New York City and 25 million drivers worldwide. This leaves enough room for growth. Our first step is to make the data available in real time, then finding first customers, early adopters who are tech-affine and help us tailor the products to the driver's needs. From then on, we grow, first in New York, then the US, and then worldwide. On the way, also trying out future possibilities, like collecting the data from the statistics part of our app to improve our services, also including fleet management services, and in the future, allocating autonomous-driven fleets. We, a diverse team of front-end, back-end, and business developers, try to make it possible. With your help and your vote, you can help to save thousands of jobs, increase cab drivers' revenues, and make them a better life and have an impact on the environment. Feel free to try out our live demo, and thank you for your attention. We're now open for your questions.
Thank you so much for your pitch, perfectly in time. Then let's jump right into the questions from the jury.
Can I probably start? Have you are talking about cab driver New York and the TLC. Have you experience of the TLC and how these guys work? Domain knowledge?
Not personally, only from documentaries.
Okay.
Maybe another question from my side. Let's assume everyone in New York City, every single cab driver is using your app. Wouldn't they be competing for the same rights?
Sure. However, when all of them are using the apps, we have a bigger database also on the location of the drivers, and we can further improve their allocation. This is the biggest drawback actually in the CAP system right now, that they're all competing and are not controlled by an allocator instance. So when everybody uses this, we could act as this allocator instance and controlling the whole fleet, like probably Uber might be doing with his drivers.
I would like to. Oh, I'm sorry, but maybe can you quickly alert on the main differentiators to the existing competitors, because they are doing exactly the same geolocation analysis and kind of the best next offer for the drivers. So what makes you different?
We have a social impact for the drivers. We try to increase the productivities. The Uber tries to have a big market share by having a lot of cars with a low utility. And we try to do the exact opposite of that, having a limited amount of cars, which is regulated by the TLC, but then increasing their productivity so everybody who's working in that job actually can make a nice living out of that without working 12, 13, 15-hour shifts.
So 1 minute for questions if the jury has.
What would be your thoughts to get into the additional markets where maybe data is not as good available as with the TLC in New York City?
Sorry, what are our thoughts to get in that market?
In other markets rather than New York City, where data seems to be available from the TLC.
Yeah, that is a bigger issue actually. We're hoping that because New York City is like the main CAP center of the world, we hope that the word spreads from there, and then people start to adopting the app nevertheless, and then we have a database to work with. On the other hand, demand predictions could be done also for hotspots in the first place. Probably not as precise as in New York City, but there should be some data available to start with and then go from there.
Sorry, just in time. You made it. Your Q&A session is done. And now we're jumping straight into the investment round, starting with Antoine.
So thank you very much for the presentation. I'll try to look at the QR code. I'd like to give you, I think you need to gain more domain knowledge. So I'd like to give you 50K for you just to do the domain knowledge analysis, do interviews and deepen the network. And I can see that just like last year, I'm the one staying with the most money at the end of the presentation.
True.
Perfect. Thank you for this investment. Then we have Andreas.
Thank you. So like Antoine, I think you need more domain knowledge and also then to think about maybe how to get into other markets where data is not so much available, because that's for me the biggest issue with this type of business model here. So I'll go with 75K.
Furthermore, we go with Ekrem.
Yeah, I mean, as my question will maybe indicates, I'm not 100% clear about the competitive advantage here. Yeah, I got it, productivity increase and the social impact, but I still see some more room for thoughts. Nevertheless, I give a 50K because I like the whole idea of impacting the cab drivers here.
Thank you for that investment. We go with Oliver's next.
I'm actually much more positive, and let me explain why. So first of all, I thought about giving you 150K, but I tried a live demo on my phone and it worked perfectly well. So that's an additional 50K for me, adding up to 200. Very impressive. Let me explain why. Not only was your pitch very crisp and very nicely presented, but what I really liked is that you turned the problem basically upside down, right? You thought about it not from a mobility point of view, but from a driver's point of view. And basically by putting the user into the focus, it kind of like enabled you to see new value in data and also like to come up with a concept that is probably much more well positioned for an AI concept, because the driver, the user is your friend. He loves using this app, right? And also is more than willing to share the data with you. So you probably get some kind of feedback loop from your actual user, which probably is very valuable in such a business model. And there's probably a lot of problems need to be solved, but this is always the case. But that is my reasoning why I think this has a lot of potential.
So that was 250K, right?
200 in total.
200.
Sounds like a great investment.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out to every team which is listening right now that UVC is a great company.
Giving out the money.
And finally, we have Anand.
Yes, so I think the way the live demo app which you gave us to try out, that was a great 48 hours. That was great. And also, like, just to echo Oliver, like the way you scoped it, like it was very much like, so the motto, what was the save a trip or something, forgot, but it really resonated. And the business part and the revenue pricing, and you even explain why they would be willing to pay. So all of this was really masterfully done. The only thing which I would say, which kind of would be nice to have, is the technical. Technically, I wasn't really convinced about, because like another team which took this on, and they leveraged spatio-temporal aspects, so and a lot of other things. There's a lot more issues which occur when you deal with such data, and so I would say it's 170K.
Thank you.
Can I put it back to 100K now that I know that the QR code works?
You double your amount. That's good for the team. Very nice. Okay. Then let's have another another overview of what has been invested thus far. And yeah, maybe in the next round the team can convince Antoine that they're the lucky ones to get some more money. So let's jump into the last team.
So we have the last team of the evening, that is Fly.ai. They are from the social impact track. Good evening, Fly.ai. You hear us?
Yes, we hear you.
Perfect.
Nice to meet you.
The stage is all yours.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Raphael from Fly.ai. In Germany, an ambulance averaged 9 minutes to arrive at an emergency. We can actually reduce this number by using drones, and thus the survival rate at a sudden cardiac arrest can be tripled. And it's even more important, or the most important thing here, is to have a good location of the drones to have best coverage. So we come from a problem of insufficient availability of medical care, but the opportunity to use drones as supporters. But it's not that easy to use drones, because we have to ensure safety and reliability, and especially when it comes to landing or delivering goods. Added to this, it's a quite new market. And for these new companies, it's hard to develop their AI and hardware simultaneously. But we support these companies. We develop, on one hand, dynamic AI models. Those contain data and models from different use cases like mobility, transport, or emergency, which have the common need for safe landings or delivery. Added to this, we reduce computational costs by using smart cloud computing, or make it quite flexible by using Docker containers. The third feature we bring into it is our location optimizer, which is a smart algorithm to relocate drones that we have the best coverage for all areas according for the whole fleet. So here you actually see an overview on our availability map, which shows the position and the place where the drones will head next. Also, our customers will be able to optimize their fleet and to see what advantages they can, or how they can increase actually the coverage there. The core of our solution is our AI optimization. Our customers are able to configure their AI for their specific use case from the models that we have available. So what you see here is actually our imagery detection, and we see detected here pedestrians using a test data set from the Horizon drones. And our customers are then able to have safest landing capability. But how do we actually make money with this solution? We divided our business model into a basic model and a premium part. The basic contains the pre-trained AI, AI optimization, and fleet management. The premium tools in this case are the location optimizer for the best coverage, the smart cloud computing to reduce the computational costs, and the dynamic and configurational models, which allow best models for a specific use case. All this is charged on a monthly base per 50 drones as a subscription. The market we address is the global drone market. It has a size of $150 billion, and when we reduce this market to the software medical transportation drone market, we still have 24.3 million, and which we actually see on the right side of the beachhead. When looking at the 27.7% growth rate, that's actually our last call to action. But who else is in the market? There are several companies who provide mapping, surveying, and video drones for commercial or for private use, but the direct competitors are especially African Drones or Drone Delivery Canada. Both of them have drones which are able to land or deliver goods at specific places. We mainly focus on software. So our software enables, or our NI enables us to create a situation detection which enables safe landings anywhere. Added to this, we create dynamic models combined with smart cloud computing to have the best performance and the lowest computational costs there. The next steps for us after the Makeathon today is developing a most advanced version of our drone landing and delivering AI, our Fly AI platform till the end of this year. And on the business side, we will then focus mainly on the market and customer research till the end of November. Then heading to the market at the beginning of next year, and by the middle of next year, we're looking into to cooperate with companies like Horizon to actually dive directly into the SOM market, which will then be offered, where we'll be offered them, or we'll be able to offer them the hardware and software together. The team consists of Nicolas, Marcel, Marina, and me, Raphael, and we combine skills from physics, in environmental engineering and computer science, and also business. So it's a quite perfect match here. And now, if you look for your drone service to have best landing capabilities or delivery service, and also the best coverage of your fleet, then go by Fly AI. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Fly AI, for your perfect pitch. Right now, we can jump right into the Q&A session.
I would actually have a question. So thanks a lot for presenting. Very interesting. It looks like the technology you're developing can be used basically for any kind of usage of drones. Why do you go for the medical use case?
It's a quite good point to start, because we saw a big pain point in terms of support for the ambulances. And we already also got kind of a validation directly from Horizon that they are interested in looking into this market. So we were starting especially there to look at pain points.
Another question from my side is, you emphasize a lot on the landing capabilities and your competitive, landscape looked like, these were the two main differentiators. So why is that so important?
You mean that we're able to land or to create landing capability everywhere?
Exactly.
That's especially when it comes to this emergency support. There we cannot have specific spots where the drones can land, so it has to be able to land everywhere or deliver actually goods everywhere, and has to be quite careful when delivering goods. So if there is a person laying on the ground, it should not drop in the wrong way. And for example,
it applies only for the emergency use case?
In this case, yes. But for example, Drone Delivery Canada, they have especially areas where they have restricted areas where the drones can land, and the drones cannot land anywhere. And that's an issue, for example, for this application.
Another question from the judge, otherwise I have another one. So how you can make sure that the 4 minutes then, right? So because an emergency can literally happen everywhere, right? So easy places and also the harder places. So how you make sure that you reach this 4 minutes SLA?
We make sure that's why we created our work on this algorithm to relocate drones in the best way. Because if there are many emergencies at one place, many drones are needed. So we can have other drones which are not needed in this moment or are available to head at different locations to provide their coverage there.
I've had a quick question. Do you think that you can meet the SLA without having 5G enabled through all the networks?
Sorry?
Do you think that to be able to achieve the SLA in a reliable way through all the country, you will need 5G?
That's actually a good question. We have this capability of the smart cloud computing and the embedded executables on the drone. So the drone is either, if there's no 5G, for example, the drone is able to run the models on the controller on the drone, or if 5G would be available, then we are able to share the task between the cloud and the drone.
Unfortunately, it was the time, but thank you so much for answering these questions.
Thank you very much, YI. We jump right into the final investment round.
Oh, awesome round.
Yes, we will start with Andreas.
Yes, thank you. So really like your idea of providing the best possible software in this space, but I have my, let's say, doubts when I look at the competition, and I was not so sure about who in the end are then your customers. Is it drone builders? Is it other people? And whether you more want to develop the platform or really the AI piece on the best available landing software, for example. But in general, there's potential in the market, so I go with 120K.
Thank you very much. Then Anand.
Yes, so I would echo Oliver on this. I think there's great potential, but I'm still, especially when a tech company catches on to the idea like Google or Amazon, who've been dealing with drones quite successfully, and they also have successful networks and a lot more. So it would be easily outcompeted. So I would say great job. So 110K for this.
Thank you for your investment. Up next is Oliver.
Well, again, very impressive. Thanks a lot for presenting. There's two things I really like about this. One, of course, is the application per se. And then the other part is that I think you really thought about a use case where AI probably has a really true value add. Like it's an application that probably cannot be solved without AI, which is of course kind of crucial here. There's probably a lot of problems that need to be solved, especially when it comes around connectivity or running the algorithms basically on the edge. Power consumption probably is an issue here if you fly a drone and want to compute your large-scale models there. But there's a lot of technology catching up here, so I think this can be solved in the future. Altogether, I'd like to invest 200K. And one more thing I want to add here. Just a couple of days ago, a company with a similar concept actually got funded in real for, I think, like 13 million in a seed round. It's called Mate, and they're also all about really delivering medicine very quickly, but they're delivering it with basically on bikes. It's just like a gorillas for medicine. So I think your solution is much more impressive, and that's why I'm very happy with that investment.
Thank you very much. Dennis Antoine.
So I'm going to put 150 for a number of reasons. The first one is that it's good to have a good solid technical base. Then it's good to start being like in a market which currently is small, but we can really be enabled to be bigger, because that is really what I would say early deep tech investment should be about. And I continue to think that if you do this sort of thing, then when 5G is really there, it can be a sort of killer application. And the third one is that, there is this book called Crossing the Chasm written by Jeff Moore, which every entrepreneur should be reading. And what Jeff Moore is advocating in this phase post the chasm is to try to have a targeted solution where you segment, he calls this the bowling alley, and looking at a very specific segment and trying to understand the need of the segment is what he's recommending. So I think this is something that I quite like. I'm not putting all my money because I obviously have failed in doing these, but there are a number of things which are pretty good.
Thank you very much.
So it's 150K, right? Antoine?
Correct.
Perfect.
And then we have our last team member, that is Ekem.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of only echo the positive feedback from my panelists. I really like the clear focus on software rather than hardware. So which means it's open up the whole drone market for you, which you also illustrate. This is I think a game changer. I think also using AI and being able to cover and tackle many use cases, starting with emergencies. This is also kind of a very broad thing. I think the only big issue you guys have gonna have to focus on certain things like emergency and others, right? So, but given all these aspects, I would give it 250K.
Thank you very much. And we have at all of our investments for this evening.
So let's take one final look at the current scores. It's actually very close. I think last year it was not nearly as close as it is this year. So, but yet nothing is lost also because the group investments will start soon, where all the jury will get together and discuss where to invest.
5 million more TUM.ai coins to be invested.
Exactly.
And the panel judges can join the meeting room where they can deliberate on it. And in the meantime, we will do a short presentation.
Yes, enjoy jury and let's see what you come up with. See you soon. I think everybody should be able to see my screen now. First, we want to start with a little poll because now that we've heard the judges' opinions on all these matters, we would very be interested to see what your opinion is, which team was actually the best and should win this Makeathon. So go to the www.menti.com and enter this code or just scan the QR code on the right here and give your opinion to which team you believe has the best potential in this Makeathon. Here we go, last minute. It's currently Foodies. Very good. Close race. I don't remember which one was the last one. The Fly also had the best judgment review. SpeakEasy also did, but because we're a bit less here. Very interesting. It's almost just as close as it was in the jury. Yeah. No, very cool. Carbolytics.ai.
Which team do you think
this win? Should win?
Yes.
That's a hard question.
Your favorite?
I don't know. SpeakEasy was quite cool.
I really enjoyed SpeakEasy as well. I also enjoyed Fly.ai. It had some big promises there.
I like the concept of green Spectres as well.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what the jury comes up. Okay, then. Ooh, it jumped quite up.
So Fly.ai.
Then let's move on to our partners.
Yes. Then, of course, with organizing this event, we also need sponsors. And our main sponsors are Blade.ai, Microsoft, TUM Venture Lab, and Antonema TUM. Then for challenge headers, we have Siemens, Google, Enactus, Werkstatt, Credium, Rohrberg. And finally, we have the speakers and supporters who were active during our deep dive days. These companies are EY Adventure, IBM, Fraunhofer, and Weights and Biases.
Yeah, again, thank you so much to you because without our partners, this wouldn't be possible. So make sure to check all of them out and
check them out. And now
we'll go to our team because, of course, in TUM.ai, there have been a lot of people that have been working Makeathon. So I want to start with introducing Toby, the mentor of the Makeathon, Ekim and Peter, who have done a lot of the organizing. So big thank you to them. Obviously, Sarah, Claudius, Julia, and Noreen, who've also been part of the Makeathon team. Then we have from the education department, Kerstin, Andreas, Pavel, Tim, Christoph, Mohamed, and Aditya. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And from the infrastructure and IT department, we have Jakob, Stefan, Shabazz, Maximilian, Tom. We have Ferdinand from the legal and finance department, and Marcus, who was a big part of organizing the last Makeathon as well, and was also a big help in this one.
Yeah. And then we have the community department, including Rafi, Taha, Alicia, Hai, and David, who is in the venture department. On the line, we have the marketing PR department. That is Leonard, Stephanie, Camilo, Maria, and Nora. And last but not least, we have partners and sponsors department, including Leonie, Omar, Luca, Alex, Laura, Casey, and Martin. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to everybody for
making this possible. And then we have another poll organized for you. The question is, what did you enjoy the most about the weekend?
What is it that you enjoyed the most, Peter? From organization and everything?
From organization, I think it's kind of like some sort of a gift that we have organized. It's been for more than 3 months now, and it's kind of a gift to see the final features and everything into place.
See what comes out.
Yeah. What you enjoy the most?
I think moderating is fun, marketing is fun, and yeah, I'm sure all of you are interested in doing such an organizing thing as well. Make sure, like Nico said, check out our website.
The application phase is open, and we have 9 different departments for you to join in.
Yes. And again, the code is the same actually for this poll, and the link is also the same. So feel free to scan the QR code again if you want to answer these questions. And tell us what you enjoyed the most about the Makeathon itself. Skip is another go. Maybe there's also a problem with the software. So maybe let's move on to the second part, which is the meme challenge. Also very exciting. Peter loved this challenge.
We had some side quests during the Makeathon, and this is the meme challenge where the winner with the most reactions wins €100 prize.
I'm sure some of you have already analyzed and know what the different placings are in this one, but let's go through them.
Yeah.
In third place, we have.
And that's my favorite, and I'm delighted.
There's actually been a lot of analysis done on this picture. I haven't even noticed, but apparently it's been thought of that the pink of Patrick is actually implying the pink sweater that he's wearing all the time.
During the deep dive days, which you can check out on our YouTube channel. And I'm actually delighted with the meme, but
you've made it into third place.
Yeah, but
so thank you, Jan, for creating this.
Thank you very much, Jan.
In second place, we have a very interesting candidate from Henrik, who's just made a little business out of the meme challenge, which is smart. And he almost actually made it into first place. So, you know,
almost.
Maybe better luck next year. But yeah, very creative. So kudos for that. Yeah. And in first place, I'm guessing some of you already know, but it's actually irrelevant meme.
Yeah.
That somehow makes sense. I'm surprised, especially super random.
Yep. And it's by Dimitri Legoyev. Congratulations, you have won the meme challenge.
And €100 with it.
Yeah.
Keep up, and I'm glad to see that actually relevant. Okay, so now that we've done all of things, announced the meme challenge, we're all very excited to see who the final winners will be.
Everything can change, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Yeah, see you soon, everybody.
Bye.
See you in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back. I'm sure you're all very excited to see who actually won this semester's Makeathon. But before, we're actually curious to see what you enjoyed about the Makeathon the most. And the poll didn't work before, so I'm just going to quickly try it again to see what your guys' opinion was.
So make sure to go to the site or use the QR code.
This time it should work.
Yes.
So let's see if there's any results this time. Looks good. Looks like something is happening. New friends.
Coding. Fun. That's
positive.
Yeah.
New friends is always good. Yeah. Especially like a lot of people go into Makeathons not knowing anybody, but I think it's even cooler if you go into it with people that you didn't know before and end up creating an awesome project either way. Memes, yeah.
Memes.
Always the best one.
meeting great teammates. And I think, can you show the photo once again? Maybe
the QR code.
Yes.
Sure.
Give them some time to enter the website.
Sounds good. Yeah, but I'm glad to see that people have enjoyed it. Maybe some of you will come back in the next Makeathon as well. Maybe some of you will jump to my eye. It'll also be exciting. Let's give it another go. Quite a few. AI.
Awesome team.
Communism. Yeah, that's something to enjoy, I guess. Meeting great teammates, creativity,
yeah.
Innovation. Very cute.
Center.
Peace. Love. Lots of love from the team as well. You've enjoyed the judges as well. I like it. Okay, then without further ado, I don't want to make it too long till I actually find out who the winner is. So let's go right into the award ceremony, everybody.
So we'll start from the last spot, that is the 8th place. Can work yourself up. And
that's team Last Minute with 265,000 TUM.ai coins. Still made into 8th place out of all the participants. So good job on you. And maybe there'll be something comes out of your idea as well. So good luck with that.
Then in 7th place, we have ChangeMaker with 400,000 TUM.ai coins. Congratulations, you've won the 7th place.
In 6th place, we have team Foodies with 440,000 TUM.ai coins. This is the first place that actually wins something, which is the goodie bag by Microsoft. Let's see what is in there. I don't actually know, so be an exciting surprise.
You got for that. And then in 5th place, we have the AI Vengers with 525,000 TUM.ai coins. And what did they win? They win a goodie bag also by Microsoft.
Very exciting. In 4th place, we have Team GreenSpectres. Very big jump in investment actually here as well. So good job, Team GreenSpectres, for making it into 4th place, and you also win a Microsoft goodie bag. Now to the exciting top 3 places. We've actually seen the results, and it's been very interesting to see and very surprising.
Of events.
Yeah,
we're expected. And I think we can announce the 3rd place, and it is
this team SpeakEasy
with 1,665,000 TUM.ai coins. Congratulations.
Great job. Congratulations.
You win 500 euros for the team plus a goodie bag from Microsoft.
Very exciting. Congrats again. In 2nd place.
Yeah, you want to do it?
We also found out the 1st place now, which is in 2nd place, Fly.ai with 1,830,000 TUM.ai coins. Congratulations. It's an amazing place to be in. So yeah. And the idea was very much like for everybody. Also, good job to you. And you win 1,000 euros for the whole team and another goodie bag. And yeah, that just leaves our 1st place.
And we have our winner, which is Carbolytics.ai.
Carbolytics.ai with actually a big jump in investment as well to 2,595,000 TUM.ai coins.
Yeah, and they win 2,000 euros for the team plus fast track to TUM.ai membership. A goodie from Microsoft and joining into a podcast session in Spotify channel at TUM Venture Labs with TUM.ai members.
Yeah, so maybe a quick comment on the fast track TUM.ai membership. This is, you just need to fulfill some basic requirements, like that you have the time commitment and stuff. So you're basically in, you just need to go to quick interviews. So definitely make sure to take that. And yeah, podcast also very exciting. And of course, the 2,000 euros will be good for you to actually, work on your idea and
Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. But now we're very excited to hear something from our jury. Why they've actually decided to make this little change, and we've ended up with Carbolytics in 1st place.
Just to point out one thing, I think which is not clear is when we decided this, we just wrote down our top 3 for each one of us, and then we took the 4 which all of us had in common, the 4 we believed. So 5 million was actually distributed across the top 4. Hence, you see some getting 0 because we assumed it was going to be a ranking. And so it's not that the rest did not get, they got 0 investment, just to make it easy for us to decide. So the rest would have also gotten, if we knew that the number of coins is going to be shown at the end, we would have definitely also invested more such that the ranking doesn't change.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
No problem.
But it's still like the surprising thing was that the top 3 was in a different order than a lot of you might have expected it to be. So how come that you made the decision to invest more in our first place?
Oliver, do you want to take this?
I think you're still muted. Maybe you can mute yourself.
I was muted twice. I think now it works, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So to be very honest, I think we had quite an in-depth discussion, given even the short amount of time. So we went into a lot of different dimensions. I guess there's a couple of things that was important to us. First is really how the team basically thought about the challenge. So like, is it like truly AI challenge or not, right? There's surely one aspect of the discussion. I think in the end, what was also very important for us is how much actually was achieved within the 48 hours, right? So we had quite a bit of insight here. What could be achieved in this short time, and this is in the end quite a bit what Makeathon is all about, right? So I guess for Carbolytics, what really impressed us is not only that like it's like a user-centric approach, right, versus just a data-centric approach. So this basically enables you to have new ways of using the data, right? Second, the concept makes sure that the users are happy to share that kind of information that is actually needed for the algorithm to keep on learning, to keep on improving, right? So that's a conceptual thing that is good really about this, about the idea of Carbolytics. And then last but not least, as I mentioned before, really the amount of work that went into really getting this prototype up and running, fully functional, live on the smartphones of the jury members is actually quite impressive. So I guess this was in the end for us the last deciding factor. However, really got to say it's great to see how much has been achieved by all the teams. And I think there's only like a selection of the teams now that we see today already. And I think we all know about the massive power that AI has in theory. And I guess today it was really a question of creativity and technical savviness to bring this into reality, and this worked impressively well. So I guess we can all just say really keep going, keep pushing. I'm really excited to see what's coming up for the next Makeathon, and it's really great to see what's been developing here over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's very well said, definitely. Yes,
one more thing to point out, given the team AI Vengers also, I was particularly, even though they did not make it to the last top 3, but I was very impressed by their technical solutions. So would like to also talk with them because they, I would say, technically speaking, they were the most impressive across all presentations I've seen. So
yeah, also something definitely important part of this.
Also to add, it was a really close call also in the jury discussion in the end. So a hard time given all the great presentation, all the great pitches. And in the end, it was then somehow what was the whole package. And as Oliver pointed out, what was really achieved in those 48 hours.
Mm-hmm. So maybe some final tips any of the jurors have for the top 3 teams, or any specific one, what they should take as a next step in the future?
Well, if Carbolytics or Vengers ever join Google, and I would love to recommend them both for this, then there's a internal incubator, which I've also launched an app with. And I would definitely suggest them to use their creativity and skills to join the incubator program and launch this app.
Sounds amazing. And I think now we should go to the winning team.
Yes, let's head over to the winning team and see what they have to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all the jury members again for joining and participating and judging. And hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for organizing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Is anybody from our winning team here already?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, Carbolytics. How are you feeling?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. That's an amazing achievement. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really overwhelming and surprising, the result in the end. There were so many outstanding teams, so I'm happy not to have to make this decision in the end like the jury did.
Yeah, it was a very close call. It's true. any tips you can give to the other teams? What do you think made you, in the end, maybe the winning team compared to other teams?
Look for the best possible teammates, I think. I mean, like a diverse team.
Yeah. Any advice you'd like to give to the viewers at home to Makeathon? Why should they apply to the Makeathon?
A lot of fun, a lot of fun.
And it gets you into things that not really like affiliated. It's like great interaction. It's also great to dive like new tools. There's always stuff that you've not used before and not worked. Kind of the thing that kind of kicks you to get going.
Did you know each other before? Or was it like the first time you met for this Makeathon?
Nils and I already knew each other, and over some connections we kind of managed to get the whole team together. So yeah, I think it's a perfect match. We are very we have so many different domains, and we just were able to match them all together to a very good product, I think.
So you definitely think you're going to keep working on your idea, or what's your plan for the coming weeks? Do you know?
Or are you still astonished by winning the Makeathon? You haven't said much.
Have some time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Easy. Well then, yeah, again, congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Let us know how it goes, and maybe we'll see you again, either at TUM.ai, seeing as you get the fast pass to the TUM.ai membership, and also maybe next year again, or next semester in the next year Makeathon. And yeah.
Thank you very much for participating. And one more time, congratulations for winning this year's Makeathon.
Yes. And in general, maybe now we want to thank all the participants in general for participating.
The organizers.
Coming up with great ideas.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. And
wish you all a good evening and see you. Thank you for joining. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.